goodness. I am super excited. I know some people have been waiting on our page, the Sharing with Yemi page. Finally, we're broadcasting on our own page. That is just awesome. That is totally awesome. And I hope that you're excited as I am. It's great to be back on Sharing with Yemi, and I am delighted that we have our own page now, and we can come to you broadcasting on our own page on Sharing with Yemi. We've been trying to ensure that we're relaying to you appropriately and that everything is good. So if you can see me on the Sharing with Yemi page, let me know. I am delighted to be here on the Sharing with Yemi page. So if you can see me, let me know. Please say something, say hello. Tell me that you're here. Speak to me, right? Let me see you that you're here right now, okay? Hi guys, anybody can see me? Anybody on Sharing with Yemi page? Let me go and pop in and see if you guys are there as well. But I'm going to wait for somebody to say hello to me. Hey, yay, Kondi is here. I know, Kondi, I am late. Apologies. You know it is not in my character to be late. But we had to make sure that all those things, you know, technology can be a bit funny sometimes. You have everything all set, and technology just develops a mind of its own. So my sincerest apologies. Oh, Kondi says, I forgive you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the love. I'm glad you forgive me. So Kondi, please share and tell people that we're now live on our Sharing with Yemi page. This is awesome. I am super delighted, and I am glad that people are joining in. So please tell somebody to tell somebody that we're going live, and host a watch party, right? Host a watch party. Get people to start watching. So perhaps the way you can do that is to host it. I'm actually going to try and start one now. From the Sharing with Yemi page, I'm going to pop it into my own page so that some people are probably waiting on my page to watch this. So we're going to go onto the Sharing with Yemi page and ensure that people, hi Pat, oh my goodness, whoop whoop, all of the regulars are in. We are live. This is brilliant. I love it. 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 So it's literally like saying testing. Are you there? Can you see me? And we're testing today. So if you can see me live on the Sharing with Yemi page, please say hello. And we're broadcasting live on our own page today. I'm going to try and pop this into my my own page, my own Yemi Adenuga page, so people can watch. Very good. Very good. How are you all doing today? I trust you're keeping well. Thank you. Thank you. Pat says, congratulations on the amazing new page. Yes, we're building it. We're growing it. And with your help, Oluroti Olaniran, thank you. Good evening. Thank you for being here. I am super delighted that you can all see me and that our page has come live today. Very good. So today on the show, I have a brilliant friend of mine who is going to share with us what the situation is. Today, we really want to kind of bring back hope. Countries are beginning to release the restrictions and to step back a bit on the restrictions. Ireland being one of them. There's a plan in place now, a roadmap to opening businesses and to release us all from the lockdown, slowly but surely. But that is conditioned on the fact that we all play our role, right? That everyone plays their role. Oduaku, James, Ama, yes, I can see you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. It's great to have you all here. So please share, as you can see me, like and share, so that people see that Sharing with Yemi is now live on its own page. It's no longer broadcasting on my personal page. So do tell somebody. Yes, like I was saying, today we're going to be taking a quick visit to Italy to share what the update is. A couple of weeks back, we visited Italy when Italy was at the height of the pandemic. And then things even just skyrocketed beyond that. But today, Italy is delighted to be easing off restrictions slowly but surely. And it's a long journey. It's not that we're not there yet. No country is there yet. Actually, quite a number of countries started to ease off restrictions, but there's still a lot of work to do. So without much ado, I want to welcome my beautiful guest today on the show. Some of you might have met her before, some haven't, but I'm delighted to have her back on the show. It's great to have you back, darling Anna I always try to say your name. Lodeserto. I mean, it's just it's just incredible. How are you today, Anna?
Fine, thanks. Today,
very good. It's great to have you back.
Yeah, it's the greatest day since 2 months, we can definitely say, because we literally saw light also outside. So we saw the sun for a longer time, longer than go to the grocery or pharmacy, and it was really, really nice, actually. And so I'm also very happy to join you again, because
you,
as you remember, we met. Of course, we met in person in Dublin. I still have here because I was supposed to come to Ireland 3 times now during this period, but I'm stuck at home
It's impossible. There's no flights to go anywhere.
Yeah, but we hope to see in the future again, to meet in person again in the future. And I already joined your live discussions 6 weeks ago, and the situation was extremely hard at that time, as you might remember.
Yeah.
And I also would like to thank you and your audience, because they really sent a lot of love and support, and this was really important. And over these weeks and months now, so we really all this support from across the world was very, very important, because being confined at home, as you know, is quite hard, even if you have friends outside, and if you are lucky enough to have work at home, but work to do, and deadlines and everything. But the situation outside was extremely hard. So the death toll was rising again. Since a couple of weeks, we finally managed to flatten the curve. These terms that
such a delightful news to just hear that Italy is managing to flatten the curve. That is such a delightful news.
Yeah, and in some regions, actually, I can send you also a map with data afterwards, because in some regions they already have no cases since 3 or 4 days. In 3 provinces in Sicily, even 5 days. And maybe you already know that the guidelines we received from the World Health Organization states that in order to overcome surely, as you said, the pandemic situation, at least 28 days without infection should pass. So for now we have 5-6 days, but another very relevant point concerning the Italian situation is that it's very diverse. So the majority of cases, they are concentrated in the northern regions, and so from Rome to the southern regions, including Rome itself, the situation hopefully never reached these dramatic figures, and also the situation with hospitals was quite under control. And as we hope that it will be in the future, of course, and because now also looking at other countries such as China or also Germany, Denmark, the countries which started before Italy
Yes.
to ease the lockdown, is not clear enough if a second wave will come, and or but many experts agree that
that's likely to happen. That's a main discussion now in many quarters about the possibility of a second wave, especially when we get into the winter months. Once we cross the summer months and we get into the winter months, that is likely to be a second wave of this, and that when the children go back to school as well, it's most likely expected that there may be a second wave. But we can fight this, because if countries are able to fight this, countries like Italy are beginning to flatten the curve. That is hope for countries like ours in Ireland, and for loads of other countries, that it's possible to flatten the curve. Let me ask you, Hannah, what did Italy do that got them to this stage?
Yeah, so the lockdown was and still is very strict, as you know, because it has been one of the strictest in Europe, along with Spain. And so until today, the stay-at-home rule was very, very, very mandatory. And
so today is the first day that the stay-at-home rule is lifted.
No, not totally lifted.
Yes, a bit of restriction still.
Yeah. For example, it's still not possible to go out for a walk, but it's possible to have to practice outdoor sports, because this was not allowed before, and more shops, but not all of them. Just a few more shops reopen or are reopening in a takeaway mood, so they are also adjusting their
how they are delivering their work.
They were working, and construction sector reopened, but among the most important things, especially in my city in Rome, is that parks reopened, because Rome is also still lucky enough to have a lot of green areas, and I think that it is helping a lot. And so half of the city is made by green areas, and now they are reopening. And this morning I woke up very early in the morning at 4 a.m. in the morning to go out at 5, and I've seen the dawn, and at the start of the day I've been to the city center for the first time in 3 months now. Because before coming back home I was also traveling, so I barely forgot how was it, and it was very nice. So without traffic and still very clean. So the city now is extremely clean, with a lot of animals coming back.
I saw some videos a couple of weeks ago. Some cities that animals have taken over. They came from the zoo, and not maybe from the parks, actually. Some the animals in the park, and they took over the roads, and
it's actually here even in my street in the city I can see everything, ducks and any kind of birds. They are everywhere. And so another. This has been quite controversial, because among the differences, starting today, and part of this lifting is that we can finally visit relatives. So this is only for relatives. This has been quite controversial, because during this period the governments, they also took a lot of power in kind of also interfering with rights, with civil liberties, and also the role of the police is very worrisome, because they are fining people. We even now during with these new measures, we always need to show this kind of this paper is kind of permit and declaring why we are going out, where we are heading to, and the exact address. So this is really interfering with your
human rights,
liberties. Yes,
freedom
and
of
so
movement. Yes.
yeah, and also it's not clear the connection with the health issues because the virus doesn't recognize, as far as I know, if you are a relative, you are my sister, my mother, or a friend. So we can also only visit families and official families, and the government discussed the 6 days about who this congiunti was the term are, but we are supposed not to meet friends or other kind of people. So this was really disappointing, and this is also considered a kind of false reopening. It's also the term that the Guardian used, because there are just these two new measures. They are still important because we were really closed at home for 2 months now, but still the situation is not that clear. Clear. And in the northern regions where there are still a lot of people in the hospitals and dying every day. The regional governments, they are not acting for the public good, let's say. So it's very divided now. The country is very divided, but also trying to find the positive sides is it's also a laboratory now. Italy because this virus and the pandemic is very unknown. You know, there are a lot of things that we still don't know, and there are many
to figure out.
But the climate conditions that it seems that they can also have an impact, and Italy is a kind of ideal place to study how and if it will change, because the climate and the weather is totally different from north to south. So now in the south, the summer is coming, and there are a lot of conditions that can also help the researchers and all the experts involved in
there's quite a good bit going on there, lifting the restrictions slowly but surely. And like I said earlier on, there are a number of countries that are also lifting their restrictions because people have gotten sick and tired of staying at home. Even though it is understood that the restrictions in the first place were for the overall safety of the people, the country, different countries as it were. But, there's a limit to how long people can be kept indoor. And for ourselves in Ireland, just a couple of days ago, from the 1st of May, we had Prime Minister Taoiseach, we call him the Taoiseach. He's outlined a new roadmap to slowly but surely lifting the restrictions to enable businesses back on and to enable us get back into normalcy, whatever normalcy means in now, because we're not going to completely go back to normalcy. But there was supposed to be a review of all of this tomorrow, which is the 5th of May. As it were, the new restrictions will stay in place until the 18th of May. And then the new phase, So the current status quo will remain until the 18th of May. And then the first phase of the new restriction will kick off on the 18th of May, where people are allowed to go outdoor, have outdoor meetings with people from different households. They can open up the childcare for healthcare workers. This is one that I'm particularly a bit worried about because children will play and children will, one has to be sure that the places will be ready to receive the children, you know, and that all measures will be in place. But I mean, that's not until the 18th of May. So I'm hoping that they would start to prepare and put all measures in place to ensure that the kids are safe when they're there. There will be phased return of outdoor workers, people who do outdoor work. It will be phased. There will be open retailers. The open retailers will be able to go outdoor and do their work. For example, opticians will be able to do their work. There'll be opening of certain outdoor public amenities. All of this will be happening from the 18th of May, and it will be slow but sure, right? And all that will stay in place until the next phase, which is the second phase, and that is from the 8th of June. So from the 8th of May to the 8th of June, all of the dates that I explained earlier will be in place until the 8th of June. And from the 8th of June, then people will be allowed to visit households, including they'll go to homes of people over 70 who are presently cocooning. They're not allowed to receive visitors presently, but from the 8th of June, they will be allowed to receive visitors. So people can go and see the grandmas and the grandpas and the grand aunties and older people who are 70 and above. And people will be able to travel. But it will be extended to 20 kilometers from their homes. Right now, there's a restriction. You can't go further than 5 kilometers. Yes. But from that time, you'll be able to go as far as 20 kilometers. And I'm hoping that people will not abuse that. Even as it were, the restrictions we have, people got very anxious and just wanted to go even further. So I'm hoping that the 20 kilometers will not be abused. We will, whatever it is that we do, really and truly is for our own good. When we look at it, when we think of it, it's for our own good. And to try as much as possible not to spread this pandemic. They will develop plans and support to open up businesses with consideration for safety of staff and for customers. So when businesses are opening, they have to think of the safety of the staff and the customers. And that thinking has to start now. Small retail outlets will begin to open. Masks and social distancing will be observed. Social distancing will observe. People will have to ensure that they constantly wash their hands to keep safe. Public libraries will be open. Immediate family and friends will be able to meet up, you know, and people will be able to attend funerals, which is something that has really kept people even more depressed, that they're losing loved ones and they can't be there. They can't say their final goodbyes, you know. But from the same here, yes, from the 8th of June in Ireland, we will be able to do that. And I mean, like I heard the Prime Minister saying repeatedly, this is dependent on how we're able to keep the curve down. You know, if we see that there's a surge, then things could change. But if we're able to keep the curve down, please God, you know, this release of the restrictions then can take place. Then they move into the third phase. We will move in the third phase on the 29th of June. And by then they would allow small social gatherings, you know, but not large parties. People they're waiting to have parties. They will be very small by the 29th of June. Creches will open. Childminders and preschools for children of essential workers will be able to go back to work, but it will be phased. It won't be sudden. Everyone wouldn't go straight back. It will be phased. There will be return to work for those with low level of interaction. They will open non-essential retail outlets with street level entrance and exit, and playgrounds will open again. And that is one thing that people are waiting for. Like you were saying earlier on, people want to be able to go to the playgrounds, want to go to the parks, want to be able to go for longer walks. I mean, we are blessed in Ireland. We can go for walks, but it has to be within 2 kilometers to your house. Once it's past that, you can't go any further. So by that time, by the 29th of June, we'll be able to go to the playgrounds and play. And then
but do you have controls for the kilometers?
Yes, we do have. We have the police, which we call our Garda. They're out most of the time, just checking, putting controls and measure.
But you don't have the papers to show.
No, you don't need the paper if you're within the restricted limit. You don't need the papers. They ask you where you're going, and then when you explain, most times, I mean, in my town of Navan, most times people just want to go shopping. You know, people are just going to the shops to get something, and then when they're able to explain that. But if you're not going to the shop, if it's anywhere else, like for me to go further to do any work with my constituents, I required a letter that said I am a county councillor and that I am going to do council work, maybe attend a meeting or do something, but it's still within my county. I can't go within my town. I can't go any farther than that. But I have to show that, saying that this is where I'm going. But not everybody needs that letter. So that's why I'm saying that we're blessed in Ireland. You know, even with the restrictions, we still have our challenges. We're not happy with it, but it's not as tough as some places like Italy, where everyone has to carry the letter saying, this is where I'm going. And I mean, for you, it means that if you don't have that, you can't go where you're going. And that's a bit of a challenge in itself, you know. And we're looking forward to moving into the fourth phase as well, which should kick in, I believe, on the 20th of July. That's when the fourth phase kicks in, and creches and childminders and all of that bit will open. Distance. So say like it is those who live in my town, gradual, you know, people can then touch their customers, you know, to work with them, because everyone is afraid now to touch anybody, you know. But hopefully by the 20th of July, we should be able to do that. Mosques will open, museums will open, galleries will open, places of worship like the mosques and the churches will be able to open, and people will be able to go back to having their regular services in their places of worship. And there'll be travel extended to outside of people's region. They'll be able to travel to other places. And please God, come the 10th of August, which is our phase 5. At that stage, there will be the allowance of large social gatherings. This is dependent on us being able to flatten the curve.
Yeah.
You know, if we play our role of ensuring social distancing, ensuring that we keep washing our hands,
wearing masks.
Wearing masks. This is something that I think needs to be greatly emphasized. Some countries, you cannot go out without having a mask.
Yeah, I hear.
You know? Oh, wow. In some countries, you can't step out if you don't have a mask. But people still go out without mask here. I tell you one great thing that is happening. Yes, I see that.
Here, so, an association of migrants, they produce them, they send to me from Calabria, from the southern part of the country, and they are just new, brandly new. So,
that is so brilliant. There's an organization that
do you remember last time we spoke about the rainbows?
Yes, I remember that. I remember that so well. We have an organization here in Ireland, Masks for Ireland. They're doing an incredible job of, you know, sewing masks for people, you know, and ensuring that it gets across to people all across the country, different regions. And I'm going to be having them on the show in a couple of days.
Nice.
About what they're doing. And the idea is to encourage as many people as possible who have sewing machines to begin to sew masks and to get it across to people. Because the minute these restrictions are lifted slowly but surely, we will require everyone to play their role, you know, and to do it better. If you're just joining us, this is Sharing with Yemi on the Sharing with Yemi page. thank you for being here with us today. Several people have joined in. Kat has a question here, and she says, now that we can drive 5 kilometers on our own as a single driver in our cars, is this only for essential trips, or we are allowed to drive 5 kilometers, or we are allowed to drive 5 kilometers alone in our cars for other reasons? For example, just out for a drive on our own for 5 kilometers and home again if we don't leave our car. I'm confused about this. Okay, that's a good question. Once, if you think back to when it was just 2 kilometers and you couldn't go any farther, the question then was, every time you meet a guy, the question they're asking you is, where are you going? And they always said, only travel for essential purposes, to do the essentials, right? So I want to believe that even at the 5 kilometer, that it is for the essential. Whatever, it may not necessarily just be for the shopping, but we have to remember that visiting is not, visiting people is not allowed as it is right now. So you want to go for a drive to get some fresh air. By the time, if you're going shopping, by the time you take that drive and you're able to do 5 kilometers, you will get the fresh air you're looking for. You know, you want to go for a walk a bit farther and you drive to a place that is 5 kilometers and then you do your walk, you will get all that you need. So getting in your car, once it's not, oh yes, I just want to take a drive all the time. I want to take a drive all the time. I think the key is to remember that this is not over. We're just trying to phase ourselves back into normalcy. So this is not over. We have to learn to live with this around us still. It's not gone away. We're trying to flatten the curve. There's still people who are infected. There's still people who are asymptomatic, who haven't tested, and we don't know that they're carriers. So when you're driving by yourself in your car, you can take, I believe you can take a drive once you're within the limit of the 5 kilometers. But you don't want to be doing that all the time, because you could meet a friend who comes out and then you want to have a chat and then you start talking. The other day, somebody told me they literally almost hugged somebody and they'd almost done it before they realized that, oh my goodness, I'm not supposed to hug you. And that will happen. The more people you meet, the more you feel like giving them a hug. So we should still be a bit cautious, you know, in our stepping out. Do what needs to be done, but with caution. The goal, at the end of the day, we must always remember, the goal is to flatten the curve. The goal is to ensure that we do not have a second wave, even when it's not expected to happen. Everybody's thinking, oh, by the winter months, a second wave will happen. So we have to ensure that it doesn't happen before then. And if possible, that it doesn't even happen at all, you know?
Yeah, also because the research is make a lot of improvements are being made, and also there are research and investigation going on, and so
absolutely,
really maybe a cure. I really hope that a cure and a vaccine can be tested soon.
I know everyone is keeping their fingers crossed for that. Even if they did have a vaccine, there claims that they have vaccines, they have the solution in different quarters. But right now, there's no guarantee. We don't know. They're testing in some places. They're testing in some places in Africa, and children are dying. It's dreadful to hear that children are dying. So one is not sure yet, you know, what the actual cure is. But the present situation, the best way to keep this down is to ensure that we are still keeping safe. We're still playing our role. We're still staying indoor when we don't need to go out. And we follow the phased roadmap that has been put in place for us, and that we stick to that. That will really help us to deal with this. I mean, I'm just looking at the figures from today in Ireland. So far today in Ireland, 21,506 cases have been confirmed. And those are cases that have been tested and that are confirmed. We don't know how many more are asymptomatic, that we haven't been showing symptoms yet. We don't know that. There've been 1,303 reported deaths so far in the Republic of Ireland. But the great thing is that 13,386 have recovered. And that's what I keep saying, that we should talk a lot about the recoveries. We should hype on the recoveries. That gives us hope that more and more people are recovering. You know, that gives us hope. And then we should look at what they're doing to help them recover. We're not talking enough about what's helping people recover. You know, we should look at that. How are people recovering? What are the things they're doing? That could help some other people as well. So I believe that's the case.
In Italy, for example, in Italy recovered, they are 82,000 so far.
82,000 recovered.
Yeah.
My goodness.
But out of 99,000 cases, infected.
Wow. How many thousand cases infected?
99,000.
My goodness.
99,900. So almost 100,000.
My goodness gracious.
And 30
that the good Lord will just comfort and console them. And, you know, Pat, I just want to say that your questions are so valid. I just want to also say that, look, all of these restrictions and all of the phasings, a lot of people are asking questions as well. They're asking clarity. So you're actually quite right to ask questions for clarity. People are not clear. And the more you ask, the more you understand. Right. So I would say, even for further clarity, perhaps to visit the department's website, and there will be more explained there. I believe they also have a line that one can call to ask questions and be clear. So you can visit the website just to be clear on some of these restrictions, the phasing of the restrictions and the lifting of them, just to be clear. I believe that there will be people asking the same thing, exactly the same thing that you're asking as well. But the one thing I always put out there is, if we think of our own safety, it would help us, you know, determine how exactly we do what we're doing, and it would help us determine how exactly we play our role in flattening the curve and reducing things. Tell me, Anna, in Italy right now, what are the feelings of the people with regards to the release of the restrictions? What are the feelings of the people?
Yeah, it really changes a lot from region to region, because there are still regions with a lot of cases, as you have seen and heard from the figures. And but in our regions and in Rome, a bit more relaxed, because we also had hard times, and especially for children, all the families with children, and because we have no projections for schools. So as you said, in Ireland, you already know that in the best scenario, the playgrounds will reopen, but this is not the case in Italy, also because the student population is quite large, and the premises, they need very expensive adjustments, and this still not so. It's sure that the schools won't reopen for the current year, so neither for exams or so this is still not possible, according to the government's
is there
position.
Is there like a structure? You see the way Ireland has phased its roadmap. Is there like structure as well in Italy?
Only until June the 1st, but it's not including education sector, schools, and all these activities. It partially includes cultural affairs, namely museums and libraries. It seems, we hope that they will reopen on May the 18th. So yeah, so far some dates are aligned with other countries: May the 4th, May 18th, and June, the first week of June. It can be the 1st, the 2nd, or 9th, like 8th, like the case of Ireland. And for the wellness and all the well-being sector and also restaurants, it seems that a reopening can be considered to happen in June. Funerals, they, as we just mentioned it, they are allowed starting from today, but up to 15 people. And this has been done exactly because with all these deaths, we had no celebrations, no rituals for 2 months, and it's too hard for families now to afford. So they have been reopened, but this I'm referring to the nationwide measures, and you have to consider that even if we are not a federal state on paper, the 20 regions, they have some powers. Health policies are under the control of the region, so they can also impose stricter rules as it actually happened. And this is one of the main problems now, and also and it's also kind of creating a lot of confusion among the population and stress and everything, because every single municipality is changing a little. So the situation is really different from town to town, from cities to city, and from region to region. And this is quite crazy.
Wow.
Today, yeah. And what I wanted to add, so now the situation is quite problematic for children, young people, and also non-formal education sector. Everything connected with education or culture, apart from museums and libraries, is really totally unknown. Cinema, theater, and all these sectors are very important for the country. And at the same time, now the concerns are for the economic crisis, of course. So yeah, the situation is still quite hard. Yeah. So, and the mood of the people it can't be relaxed for this reason. Also, because the digital divide is affecting all these activities that are supposed to be translated online, but is not that easy, because in half of the country is really not equipped at all. And so not all the sectors or companies or organizations were ready for this kind of fast adjustment, and also the technology is not strong enough. So this is now one of the biggest issues in terms of making things.
Do you think, as it is now, that you have a bit of an ease in Italy and people can go out gradually? Do you think that people will stick to the limits of where they can go?
Yeah. So far it has been quite, also because we have all these police controls, but apart from that, it's fear is the main rule. So fear, and I'm very concerned for this feeling, because fear is also affecting a lot people's behavior more than health issues or economic issues. So fear can stay longer and this can also
It can
generate mental
well.
health.
Yeah.
Now there are a lot of concerns and preliminary studies about mental health situation, and
Thank you.
so so now this is also quite worrisome.
What is then in Ireland? We've had an increase in the rate of domestic violence.
Yeah,
In the
or the same here. Yeah,
the refuge, the women's refuge, the men's refuge, they've just recorded a constant increase. It's just grown steadily.
Yeah.
You were saying the case is the same in Italy.
Yeah, and it was already problematic before the pandemic, and now increased steadily as well here. Some strategies are being implemented now for a kind of hidden app to report cases, but one thing is sure, that for many people, especially for women, stay home is not the safest thing that they can do. And also inequalities are increasing a lot, and today that many people are going back to their workplace. It has been reported that the vast majority are men, and so now another problem is connected with women staying at home for an indefinite period, because if schools are not reopening, so it's also a burden for women. So the situation of our situation as women is worsening and worsening. Another aspect is also with decision making, because the government established hundreds, let's say, of task forces for everything, for the economic crisis, for innovation technology, to create the app to trace contacts. So there are many experts appointed, and they are almost all of them are men. So we are organizing a lot of campaigning actions to fight against this. So every day there are a lot of fights still to do, because the situation is
fights as well, and get women involved in some of these things. Wow.
So as women, as young people, and children, and also migrants, and all the minorities, they are really paying a very, very
and they are challenging.
And they are in a weak position, in a very, very challenging position.
I suppose the case is the same in most countries across the globe. It's not just Italy or Ireland.
No,
most countries across the globe. Women find it very challenging to stay. Some women who are victims of domestic violence find it very difficult to stay at home, even with the lockdown and the restriction that home is the place to stay. They can't stay at home, because home is where the danger is for them. So, and I've seen God knows how many videos of fights that have been brought from inside the house streets because of domestic violence, and the women, in a bid to just seek help, just jump out of the house and cry out for help. Knowing that they can't just spawn somewhere due to the restrictions, and that in itself is scary. That's scary for the family,
that's scary.
For the children, for the women themselves, and it begs the question: what really would make things better for families when all of this is over? There would be so much to be addressed. Some of the things that children would have seen that perhaps they can't talk about. Children would have been traumatized by some of those things they would have seen happen between their parents. Some of the things that even the men themselves would have had to process that will cause them to be violent. There's so much that would need to be addressed when all of this is over. And the only way we can deal with this is to work together as a collective, as communities. The one thing I have seen come so alive with this pandemic is community spirit. Communities stand up. I can speak so boldly for my community of Navan. I have seen people stand up and support, give so much support. It's just incredible. And if this is the one thing we take away from all of this, I think it's the best thing to have happened to us, to have community spirit come back into a lot of communities. People willing to go above and beyond for people they've never even met, people they don't even know. People calling and checking on one another, just making sure that people are fine. People becoming creative as to how they check on their neighbors, putting things on their windows like the rainbow or like colors and painting things and agreeing on colors and putting it on the windows just to check every night. Anyone who doesn't have it on their window, for some communities, that's what they've done. When anybody doesn't put it out on the window, they know something is wrong in that house. Somebody is ill. And they find a way to call the authorities and they go in and they check. And it's sad that sometimes they get in there and they find that people have passed. So it's been a way to check on one another in communities. I really am delighted that communities have stood up to stand and support one another. And I hope that we can keep that spirit going. When all of this,
I also hope the same.
When we go back to normalcy, of course, our lives will not be the same 100%. But I'm hoping that this is one thing that we can keep in the midst of all the things that have happened. For everyone
also environment wise,
yes, you were mentioning earlier on that the air is fresher and it's cleaner and it's
use of sustainable means of transport, and we are also as youth workers, trainers and project managers of European projects preparing a lot of proposals to for the European Commission to change the mindset of traveling and enable more sustainable means of travel and all this kind of
Absolutely. If you're just joining us, this is Sharing with Yemi on the Sharing with Yemi page. Thank you so much. We're coming close to the end of the show. And Anna, at the beginning, I know some of our guests would have been wondering, they see you, they know your name. That's Anna, but they're wondering, what does Hannah do? So Anna, would you tell my audience what you do?
No. So before the pandemic, I used to work with transnational mobility. This is also a big question mark because we really
within Europe.
We are within Europe and working on European affairs with young people on European integration and active citizenship, and I managed hundreds of projects on this. Implying cooperation and transnational cooperation with many countries. So now
when all this
everything is at distance, everything is distance, but we still have a lot of projects suspended. That is not clear if and whether they will happen again also in a physical way. And in the meantime, I'm now working on monitoring and evaluating programs on migration and mobility and European policies in general. So I'm mainly involved in policy for European institutions. And also I always worked at the intersection of global and local development So I'm also working a lot on this digital inclusion issues and media development, trying to connect small areas, marginalized areas, and to the rest of Europe, and ideally to the rest of the globe. It's not the best season for Europe. This week is also the week of Europe, because on Saturday, and we are organizing with local communities. I'm working with now with small groups of young people there, and with libraries, with also local entities, and we are currently organizing the Europe Day, scheduled to take place on Saturday the 9th. It will be a digital version. It will be live, like today, and like almost everything. But we are also planning future initiatives, hoping that it will be possible to also recreate physically, physical community dimension, as we mentioned. So looking at the future.
Fingers crossed.
Thank
you so much, Anna. It's been fantastic having you back on Sharing with Yemi. And thank you for sharing the good news of Italy flattening the curve. Like I said at the beginning, that is such great news. And I really pray that that is kept. I pray that the curve even goes flatter. I pray that more people recover. I pray that we fight and win this pandemic all across the globe. And that we can fly again, and that we can meet again, and we can see people again, and connect again, and go back to our lives, but better.
And hug. And hug.
You know, but it will be better than the way we left it before the pandemic. Thank you so much. And keep keeping safe. It's not over yet. This is the first phase of getting over this. It's not over yet. There's still a lot to be done. But you know, seeing the result of what was done initially is good. So keep up the great work, and thank you so much.
You too.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Too. Thank you. Speak soon. Bye.
It's been lovely having Anna with me again on Sharing with Yemi today, and just having an update on what's happening across the globe, Italy specifically, and then looking at Ireland as well. So I am delighted for Italy that they're flattening the curve, and I'm praying that in Ireland we will even be able to do better, than Italy. Remember that we're phasing our return to normalcy slowly but surely. So let's try and play our role in the phasing. Phase 1 kicks off on the 18th of May. Phase 2 kicks off on the 8th of June. Phase 3 on the 29th of June. Phase 4 on the 20th of July. And Phase 5 on the 10th of August. So let's make further inquiries about these different phases and see what the restrictions are, when they'll be lifted, what role we play in all of this. And we must remember that all of this is dependent on us keeping the virus under control. The phases, just easing into each phase, is dependent on us keeping the virus under control. Our health service working and saving lives is vital at this stage. Progress may be slow, and plans and dates may change depending on all of these factors. So we all play a major role. Please keep playing your role and ensure that you keep yourself safe at all times, and you keep washing your hands, and you look out for the people around you. Until tomorrow, when we come back again on the Sharing with Yemi page. I am so super excited that we were reaching you today. We're broadcasting to you today from the Sharing with Yemi page. And I hope that you will be able to share with your loved ones and your friends and tell them that Sharing with Yemi, the show, now has its own page, and we're broadcasting from our page. So until I see you again tomorrow, God bless you. Stay home, stay safe, and look after each other. Bye.